today I thought we'd dye some fleece. This is fleece that's from my own sheep. The sheep are English Leicester Merino cross, and they have been coated, so the tips of them are not very weathered. Often you get a weathered tip on fleece, and there's not much vegetable matter in it. There is still a little bit, like you can see. Where did I see some here? But not a lot like you do sometimes get. Now this is the, well, I'll show you. This is the staple. It's quite a long fleece, and there's a bit of vegetable matter there. And we're going to dye these with the earth palette dyes. I've had these soaking for about an hour or so in a tub of water, warm water, that I've had a little bit of citric acid in. You could use vinegar, only because just to help it set. You see that one's a bit dirty. This fleece was scoured over the summertime with the Tantac fibre scour, but it still has a little bit of lanolin in it. So I have added some of the fixative A, which is a surfactant, and you use it with greasy fleece. I've added a little bit of that to the soak water instead of adding it to my dyes. Right, so we've got three colours today. We're going to use only 3 colours because not everybody has a full range of the colours. We've got the earth palette turquoise, the brilliant red, and the yellow. Okay, so I'm going to start at one end, and I'm going to over join the colours so that we get a bit of a rainbow effect. Okay, so I'm going to start with turquoise. Now this fleece is a little bit, it's not bone dry. I haven't spun the water out. I've just put the mesh bag onto a colander and pressed it down, so most of the water has actually come out, but it is certainly by no means bone dry. It is still, if you squeezed it, you would get water coming out of it. So this is the brilliant red, and I'm going to over dye it so that it meets the turquoise a little bit, and the same with the yellow. I'm not going to worry too much about that bit that's got a bit of dirt in it, because that will rinse out when I rinse this. Okay, and where they join, you just get a bit of orange. Okay, a bit more turquoise here. And where these two colours meet, we'll just get a bit of green. Some more of the brilliant red. I'm a very scientific dyer. I measure out exactly where I want these to go, as you can tell. That was a joke, actually, in case you weren't sure. Now then. Add a yellow. I might actually just put a little bit of turquoise right on the end here. There's a bit much yellow. Okay, so now I'm actually not going to turn it over and put any dye on the bottom, because I think there's enough dye on this to not do that, and it will soak through a bit, but it won't soak through. The earth palette dyes have a thickener in the mix, which means that they hang on to the fibre a bit better. They coat the fibre so that the dye stays on the fibre, instead of just all running straight through and pooling in the bottom, and then you get a muddy colour on the bottom when you've mixed it. Alright, so we will just scrunch it up a little bit so that we can wrap it, and then I'm going to put it on to steam for about 15 minutes, because it's a cold day here today, and I think we have a high temperature of about 15, which isn't enough to set these dyes. These dyes like to be about 23 to 25 degrees. The warmer it is, the quicker they set. So if in the summertime, when it's over 40 degrees here for days at a time, well, even in the springtime and the autumn when it's, I just squash a bit of air out, less than that, I just put them outside, sitting in the sun like this, and let them set. I'm going to steam these for 15 minutes and let them, and then I'll bring them back tomorrow and have a look and see how the colour has set. So this is the fleece straight out of the mesh bag after it's had a rinse, and I steamed it yesterday for about 15 minutes and then I just left it wrapped up in my stock pot overnight. It's about lunchtime now, so I've only just taken it out and rinsed it, spun all the water out and laid it out so you can see it. The colours are pretty gorgeous, and we overlap the colours a little bit when we put them on. We use 3 colours. We use turquoise, red and yellow, and that's given the colours the range of colours we've got. Bit of a rainbow selection there, but I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's worked out beautifully. The reason the tips often take a little bit more colour than the rest of the staple is because they tend to be a little bit more weathered, and the scales tend a little bit more raised and they dye a lot darker. Not always, but sometimes. Okay, I'll come back when it's all totally dry. Just one more thing, I actually will hang this fleece to dry in the mesh bag. So I've separated into 2 mesh bags and I will hang it up to dry in these, and then every now and then I will just give it a bit of a shake around so that it moves around rather than laying it out somewhere. I don't really have anywhere just to lay fleece out to dry, especially outside, whereas occasionally years ago when I used to leave it outside, I used to find a little dog perched on it. I thought it was pretty comfy. So now I just leave it in these mesh bags, hang it on the line like that, and every now and then I just upend it so that it's the other way up, give it a shake, and you'll find it'll fluff out very nicely and dry much easier than hanging it up one way. So we're back with our fleece that we dyed with it. These are ones with the earth palette dyed, like the rest of the video. And the fleece is not 100% dry yet, but it's mostly dry, but I would leave it out to dry a little bit longer. It's fluffed up quite a lot. I'll show you a staple if I could just pull one out. Or a lock. Yep, that's a staple. Okay, so that is how long the fleece is. Okay, and there's quite a good variation of colour. So we dyed it with 3 different colours. We used the turquoise, the brilliant red and the yellow. So where the colours have combined, we've got green, which is the yellow and the turquoise, and we've got a bit of purpley coloured from the turquoise and the brilliant red, and we've got a bit of orange from the yellow and the red. So I hope you all give it a try, have a go at dyeing your own fleece and you know, spinning your own fibres. There's another one. Okay, please feel free to give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're enjoying the videos. I have a few more ideas of ones that are coming up soon, so keep watching.